You ever had one of those moments where you're just sipping sweet tea on your porch, feeling the breeze and thinking finally a quiet day, only to look up and see trouble in the form of a white SUV rolling through a cloud of dust? That was me, just a few weeks back. I'd been patching up the southern fence line of my ranch after one of our calves got a little too curious about barbed wire. It was the kind of afternoon where the heat sticks to your skin like syrup, and every chore feels like it takes twice as long. I had sweat running down my back, dirt on my jeans, and not a single thought in my head beyond finishing up and heading to the barn. Then I heard it, tires crunching on gravel, and that's never good news around here. Sure enough, this SUV that looked like it had never seen a dirt road in its life pulls up right to my gate. Out steps a woman in all white, flowy pants, linen top, designer sunglasses, clipboard under one arm, and a yoga mat slung over her back like she's off to battle enlightenment. She walks right up to the fence, no hello, no name, nothing, and says, "Hi, I'm finalizing the layout for our Inner Radiance Wellness Festival. We're placing the ceremonial fire pit over there by the oak tree, and we'll need space for 30 tents, a sound bath dome, and 2 juice stations." I blinked. Pretty sure I actually blinks like a cartoon character. "I'm sorry, who are you? And what are you planning where?" She looked at me like I'd just asked her how to spell Zen. "Tamsin Weller," she said, tapping her clipboard. "I'm the visionary director for Awaken Front. The HOA has supported our initiative to host a holistic healing weekend, and this land has been selected as the site. Now, if you know anything about ranches, it's this. Don't show up on someone's land acting like you own it, especially when that land's been in their family for generations." I told her very plainly, "This is my land. That pasture, that's where my cattle graze, not for rent, not for yoga, and certainly not for juice bars." But she wouldn't back down, claimed she'd already spoken to someone from the HOA, some vice chair named Martin, and that the back acreage was communal under a clause she read as spiritually open use. And then, with all the smug certainty in the world, she handed me a printed flyer showing my land, my fence line, my trees, advertising her festival like it was Coachella for barefoot suburbanites. I asked her to leave. She told me I was clinging to outdated notions of ownership and that the land wants to be shared. Then she got in her SUV, flipped her hair like a queen, and drove off. That night, I sat down to dinner with my brother Wyatt, who'd just come back from touring on the rodeo circuit. I told him what happened, and he nearly choked on his brisket. "She just claimed your land like it's some Enlightenment embassy. What are you going to do? Call a lawyer?" "Nope," I said. "I'm going to throw a rodeo." Wyatt froze, then he grinned. "With bulls?" "And fireworks," I said. "A whole county-approved celebration. She wants to awaken the land? We'll let it roar awake." And so it began. The very next day, I filed for permits. Event license, livestock transport, pyrotechnics approval. When the county clerk saw who it was aimed at, she stamped it faster than I could say Longhorn. Meanwhile, Tamsin was all over social media. Countdowns, hashtags like Heal the Heartland, and announcements about some guru named Asher Rainfall flying in from Santa Cruz. As her followers rolled in, dressed in kaleidoscope-colored shawls and hauling dream catchers and gongs, I kept to myself. I placed boundary markers. I laid out the stage. I borrowed fencing from Wyatt's buddy downstate. All legal, all documented, all deliberate. The morning her festival kicked off, I woke up to the smell of patchouli and the sound of wind chimes clinking like a haunted wind farm. My field was covered in tents and incense smoke, and one guy was trying to align a calf's aura with a stick of burning sage. The calf sneezed on him. I'm still not over it. I waited until just after noon. That's when the trailers rolled in. One by one, bulls and broncos arrived. Hay bales stacked. Barbecue fired up. And as the band tuned their instruments, Wyatt rode in with a flatbed trailer and a grin that said, "Game on." Tamsin saw us from across the pasture. Her face went from zen to DEFCON 1 in seconds. She stomped over, barefoot, face red. "What are you doing? This is a sacred event. You're violating the spirit of community alignment." I smiled. "Red River Rodeo Revival starts tonight. Got permits and everything." She stammered. You can't. The HOA gave us verbal approval." "Yeah? I've got fire marshal signatures, livestock waivers, and the mayor's RSVP." She tried to get in my face, but Wyatt calmly stepped in, holding the reins of a particularly angry bronco named Diesel. "I wouldn't yell, ma'am," he said. "This one doesn't like high-frequency voices." She backed off quick. As night fell, the bleachers filled up. Neighbors, old friends, local news crews, even the county commissioner. Tamsin's crowd started to thin. Some drifted over to our side, drawn in by the music and the smell of mesquite ribs. The show kicked off with a bucking bronco ride set to country covers of pop songs. A bluegrass band wailed. A goat got loose during the halftime lasso demo. And no one cared. Tamsin tried one last stand. She stormed the announcer's booth, shouting that we were tearing holes in the energy grid. The announcer paused, looked her up and down and said, "Ma'am, we're about to launch fireworks off a bullpen, shaped like a longhorn skull. Maybe sit this one out." She was escorted away, again, by the same deputy who'd already warned her twice. Then came the finale. Cole rode into the ring, carrying a giant American flag. Fireworks erupted behind him, synced perfectly with the music. Red, white, gold, lighting up the night sky, while Tamsin stood at the edge of the property, arms limp, jaw open, glitter on her cheeks from an earlier curse spell she tried to cast. Yep, she literally threw glitter into the wind, yelling, "I curse this land," and the wind threw it right back in her face. I thought that'd be the end of it. It wasn't. The next morning, she posted a tearful video from her car, claiming we'd committed vibrational vandalism and that livestock were instruments of trauma. It went viral. Clips of the glitter bomb, the goat chase, and the deputy's deadpan. "That's not legal authorization, ma'am," took over TikTok. But here's the best part. HOA residents were livid. Turns out, the vice chair, who told her she could use the land. Her cousin, who also used HOA funds to print flyers and order festival banners without approval. An emergency meeting was called. 3 board members stepped down. The bylaws were amended. My name? Brought up at least a dozen times as a land defender and community protector. And that rodeo, it's now an annual event. The mayor asked to give the opening speech next year. Sponsors lined up. Even the sheriff's office offered to do traffic control. As for Tamsin, she left town a week later. No goodbye. Just a Facebook post saying the area was energetically cursed. Her SUV was last seen heading west, trailing glitter and defeat. Me? I'm still here, still ranching, still sipping coffee by the fence post. And sometimes, when the wind blows just right, I catch a glimpse of a tattered prayer flag fluttering near the back fence. I left it there, not for her, but as a reminder. 'Cause peace ain't always silent. Sometimes it rides in on hooves and ends in fireworks. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever dealt with a power-hungry HOA? Or maybe someone tried to twist the rules for their own agenda? Drop your story in the comments below. Let's talk about community, property rights, and what real alignment actually looks like.